Let's expound on this a little bit, because if you look at something that's really the American people are demanding of this committee and others, and certainly their legislators in the federal government, is transparency. And you know, the more that the universities delve into the NIL issue, the more they, as my friend here from Pennsylvania said, they really start straining that relationship of being a tax-exempt status, something that the American taxpayers pay for in their individual states on their universities, where they're getting other tax-exempt areas. So they're sort of playing it with 1 foot in hot water, 1 foot in cold water. On average, they should feel pretty good. But it's looking pretty obvious that as these get into businesses where students are making, you know, upwards $20 million NIL money, that these are looking more like sports programs wrapped in some educational ideas in order to continue their tax-exempt status. And you know, Mr. Madden, you spoken earlier in your conversation, I don't remember if it was right in your opening statement, where you talked about standing the test of the 20 provisions to be a non-W-2 entity. Having been in the business world for 35 years, I didn't know there were 20, but I looked it up. There are a lot. I didn't know if you wanted to expound on that a little bit, because I think that really does start identifying some of the things that I'm talking about.
Yes, thanks for the question, Representative Hern. The IRS has conducted employment tax examinations for decades, many times in the construction industry, where maybe drywallers or painters were working for one company, and that company was telling them where to go, where to work, providing all the tools of the trade, giving them their hours, but treating them as independent contractors. The IRS would come in and do an employment tax examination or audit, and using those 20 common law factors that have sort of over the years been summarized into about 3, but mostly it's around responsibility and control and relationships, but reclassify those independent contractors as employees, and then charge the employer with the applicable withholding tax. Usually it's 1/2 of the Social Security and Medicare tax on what should have been wages and not non-employee compensation. Many in the tax world, as I said in my opening statement, believe if the IRS were to go to a school, athletic department, and conduct an employment tax audit and use those factors, that the athletes would be reclassified as employees.
So might I ask this, what's the penalty for a company classifying somebody as an independent contractor versus an employee after an audit from the IRS?
Well, number one, it would be the additional tax and any applicable penalties and interest. And then there's also the possibility for civil fraud penalties if it was deemed to be intentional and being done with knowledge. Civil fraud could be assessed. That's a much higher standard than just.
So it's safe to say the NIL industry is still the wild, wild west right now, and violating pretty much every established law on employer, employee / independent contractor. Every business in America would love to have an independent contractor status, because it lessens the burden administratively on those businesses, just as it does the universities. And the collectives are a pass-through. Some might argue they're laundering money from big donors directly to these students. And it just happens in my last minute that I have a former student athlete from my district, very successful high school player. He and his brother both went to college, and I always ask my interns to do a bill they'd like to work on. And last week he presented a bill to me in my office, along with all my staff watching, on this very topic, because we're talking about it from a legislative issue. But if you're a student on the receiving end, as Mr. Acho said, this is a devastating experience in your life. And when you're a college athlete, and you've seen this time and time again over the short period of time that we've seen NIL monies really become prevalent in sports, it's devastating not only financially but personally and emotionally to those student players who came out of high school. In fact, his brother was the first NIL money earner in the state of Oklahoma just a few short years ago. So this is something he's seen in his early career of his life, going through college and seeing others going to the pro world. Mr. Acho, you didn't see when you were coming through college many years ago, and it's been devastating not only financially, but emotionally, and tearing families apart for the very reasons you all testified. I appreciate you all being here, sharing your expert testimony. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.